Vivziepop has managed to independently produce almost a full season of Helluva Boss, which is such an amazing accomplishment, especially considering how high quality the episodes all are. And with only one episode left this season, I thought now would be a good time to talk about what I think is going to happen in episode 8, and perhaps what we should expect for season 2 and beyond. My name is Deepcut, welcome back to Cartoon Universe, and hit that subscribe button before it hits you. Now, just to reiterate and to clarify, Season 2 of Helluva Boss is definitely happening, and is already well on its way into production. Vivziepop and the Helluva Boss cast did another livestream signing with Streamily recently, and during the livestream we got all sorts of teases for what is to come in the definitely confirmed second season of the show, including fan favorite Sally Mae returning with even more lines, as well as the voice actor, Morgana Ignis, being confirmed for other roles in the season on top of that. While a lot of people think this means that we will be returning to the Wrath Ring, I hope that is not the case. When we do return to the Wrath Ring, I don't want it to be Millie's family farm again, and would much rather see what part of Wrath Ring Moxie comes from, as he is from there too, even if he is not from this country farm wasteland. Instead, I would love to see an episode where Sally Mae comes to visit Millie in Imp City. Considering that the main characters actually live in Imp City, it's kind of surprising that we don't know more about it, and having Sally Mae come to the city to visit for an episode would be the perfect way for us to get a chance to actually explore it and see what its culture is like. Now, as a lot of you know, TV shows can have very different structures when it comes to how their seasons work. In some cartoons, like Blood of Zeus, they have a seasonal structure. The characters grow and develop over the course of the show, but the major plot points are wrapped up in each season finale. Those finales tend to deal with defeating the bad guys, and the show could reasonably end there, but then the next season introduces the characters to a new conflict, and the show starts all over again, while the characters still have the growth and development from the previous seasons. Then there are shows more like Steven Universe, where the story is meant to be one long, overarching story. Each season builds into that bigger story, and while the finales are climactic, they tend to not give very much closure, and instead build into that bigger story even more, setting up subplots to be explored in the following season. When it comes to Helluva Boss, I assumed it was using the former formula due to it being independently produced. This season introduced us to a lot of cool characters, and thanks to the trailer, we knew that a lot of these characters would be returning near the end of the season, seemingly all at the same time. When it came to episodes 7 and 8, I assumed that Stolas would be going off to the Lust Ring alone to get his mind off of Stella and Octavia leaving him, and with Stryker being hired to assassinate him, I thought Blitz would be running off to the Lust Ring in an attempt to protect Stolas. It would be there that Veraska, Fizzarali, and Stryker would all be as well, leading to a huge conflict and perhaps even several battles. Of course, that didn't happen in episode 7, though something extremely similar could still happen in episode 8. If Vivziepop is intending to wrap up the major conflict of this season, it would almost definitely need to include Stryker. While I don't think there are any shots left from the trailer alluding to where episode 8 takes place, Stolas is now home alone in his mansion, and I could easily see Stryker going there to assassinate him. And perhaps Stolas would have to hire the IMP gang to be his full-time bodyguards until the issue is resolved. In a previous video, I suggested that to really screw over Stolas, Stella may invoke some sort of demonic prophecy for the end of the world, one that only Stolas would be able to stop. In episode 2, where he sings "You Will Be Okay," the entire song and accompanying visuals seem to be foreshadowing an upcoming apocalypse. The way he sings about Octavia still being okay through it all seems to suggest to me that the end of Stolas' character will be him sacrificing himself to prevent such an apocalypse, ensuring that the world continues all so that his daughter can continue to be okay, forsaking his own destiny as a demonic prince because of the love he has for his daughter. I also theorized that in doing this, Stolas would leave his grimoire to Blitz, allowing him to continue his business without having to serve Stolas sexually, a symbolic apology for taking advantage of him, finally earning the love of Blitz and closing his arc as he learns to not put his own interests ahead of the people he loves, both his daughter and Blitz. After episode 7 and Vivziepop's recent confirmation that Stolas is canon, I don't think this is the case, however. Instead, I think the Helluva Boss will be using the other structure we discussed, where season finales are climactic but are used to set up the next season of the show and the new dynamic that will be explored. So what would that finale look like? Well, Stolas definitely would not die. While I do think he is going to die within the show eventually, it would mean that such a death would be reserved for the series finale instead of just a season finale. Well, there is a lot of ways that could go. I think the most obvious thing that is going to happen is Blitz and Stolas begin to actually date each other in some capacity. While the creative geniuses behind the show can throw 1,000 amazing curveballs at us for episode 8, episode 7 made it clear that the emotional backbone of the season is now Blitz and Stolas' evolving feelings for one another. Personally, my hope is that Stryker will return in this finale and be the final boss of the season. While I know some people want to see us go to another ring and meet yet another prince, I don't imagine we will be doing that after such an amazing appearance of Asmodeus. Like I said before, I think the whole thing could just take place in Stolas' mansion, which I hope would come with a confirmation of what ring he is in. The sky looks dark red at night, similar to the Pride ring, but in the morning it looks pink, which we know to be the Sloth ring, though we can't really say with 100% certainty that it is one ring or another, and an episode taking place there would be the perfect time for a confirmation. Like I said before, Stryker could come on in guns a-blazing, with Blitz, Millie, and Moxie being Stolas' hired guards. It is here I think Blitz would be tempted by Stryker again to turn on Stolas, to take the grimoire for himself, and to show the overlords that the imps are not to be messed with. And perhaps Stolas seeing this change in Blitz will make him realize just how horribly he treated Blitz. While Stolas clearly has feelings for Blitz, and Blitz is certainly taking a liking to Stolas if episode 6 was any indication, he clearly hates the way that Stolas sexualizes him and has trouble believing that there are legitimate feelings behind that lust. It is here that I think Stolas and Blitz will create a new arrangement, or rather, an anti-arrangement. One that allows Blitz to use the grimoire for his business, and of course return it to Stolas for the full moon ceremonies, but instead of a night of carnal lovemaking, they have a date, one where they get to know each other and where sex isn't a guarantee. I imagine the promise for a date will be very light-hearted, one that doesn't actually require a date, but that is instead meant to show that both men are interested in forging a relationship, and if the date just doesn't happen, that isn't the end of the world. And perhaps they won't even have a date. Perhaps the episode will end with Stolas realizing how wrong he is, and simply giving Blitz the book with the promise that they don't have to see each other at all, and that Stolas is letting Blitz go. And at the very end of that exchange, after moments of doubt, and realizing that Stolas is growing and changing, that is when Blitz will see that Stolas does have some feelings for him, and ask Stolas out on a date himself. And from there, who knows where it will go. Season 2 could be an arc where Blitz and Stolas try to figure out this new dynamic, as neither will likely know how to navigate their relationship now that there aren't requirements for how often they interact or what they do. We could have really cool date episodes where they have a blast, and really funny awkward ones where they fumble and don't really know how to treat each other in this context. In addition to this, of course, the show will continue to explore the 7 rings, introduce us to more princes, and show the gang going up to Earth to kill off some humans. But for my thoughts on that, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button, as after episode 8 comes out, I'll be doing a dedicated video for what my season 2 theories are. Let me know what you guys think will happen in episode 8 and beyond in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.